Gentlemen, I need your undivided attention, because there's one nut many of you are eating almost every day that could be secretly wrecking your testosterone, draining your stamina, and sabotaging your erections. And no, this isn't an exaggeration. In my years of practice, I've seen men walk into my office with low testosterone, constant fatigue, and declining intimacy, only to discover the root cause wasn't just age, but certain foods they thought were healthy. And this particular nut is more damaging to your masculinity than you'd ever expect. My name is Dr. Mohit Kara. I'm a board-certified urologist and men's health expert with more than 30 years of clinical experience helping men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s regain their strength and vitality. Over the decades, I've treated thousands of men and studied countless cases, and I can tell you with certainty, your diet, especially the snacks you reach for daily, can either support or completely wreck your testosterone. Here's the twist. The same nuts and seeds that get praised as superfoods or heart-healthy may be the very ones crushing your hormones. They can lower testosterone, elevate estrogen, and damage circulation, the perfect recipe for weaker performance. But here's the silver lining. Not all nuts are harmful. In fact, there are 4 that can actually fuel your testosterone, sharpen your energy, and restore the manhood you thought was gone. And in this video, I'll show you exactly which 4 nuts destroy testosterone and which 4 help it thrive, so you'll know exactly what to avoid and what to add to your diet starting today. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss crucial advice designed for men over 50. And let's make this interactive. If you find this video useful, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 so I know how to better serve you. Now, let's begin with the nuts that quietly sabotage your testosterone. And the very first one may surprise you, because it's often promoted as a protein-packed snack for heart health. I'm talking about soy nuts. Soy nuts, the estrogen bomb. Soy nuts look innocent, even healthy. They sit on grocery shelves next to almonds and cashews, often marketed as a smart alternative to chips or candy. Many men grab them, thinking they're protecting their heart. But for men over 50, soy nuts can be disastrous. They're packed with plant estrogens called isoflavones, compounds that mimic female hormones inside your body. They latch onto estrogen receptors, sending the wrong signals. A younger man with high testosterone might offset the damage, but once you're older and your levels have already declined, soy amplifies the problem. That handful of soy isn't just a snack, it's like swallowing a mini estrogen pill. And the research backs this up. A Harvard study found that men who consumed soy regularly had sperm counts 41 million lower per milliliter than men who avoided it. Another study showed that just 56 grams of soy protein, about 2 servings of soy nuts, slashed testosterone by 19% in only 4 weeks. For older men already fighting natural decline, that's devastating. I've seen it firsthand. One of my patients in his late 50s switched from chips to soy nuts, thinking he was making a healthy upgrade. Yet, his testosterone was nearly 25% lower than expected. Once we removed soy, his energy returned within 6 weeks, his morning erections came back, and his confidence was restored. And it doesn't stop there. As men age, an enzyme called aromatase becomes more active, converting testosterone into estrogen. When you add soy's isoflavones into the mix, it's like throwing fuel on a fire. Your testosterone falls even further, estrogen rises, and your vitality collapses. Soy nuts may be marketed as health food, but for men over 50, they're nothing but a hormone trap. Now, if soy shocked you, the next one might floor you even more. Because flax seeds, often praised as a superfood, are an even bigger testosterone killer. Flax seeds, the testosterone trap. Walk into any health store and flax seeds are everywhere, ground up, in smoothies, in bread, promoted as an omega-3 powerhouse. But for men over 50, flax seeds are one of the worst foods for testosterone. Why? Because they're loaded with lignans, another class of plant estrogens. In fact, flax contains nearly 800 times more phytoestrogens than most foods. Just a single tablespoon has more estrogen-like compounds than an entire cup of soy milk. Studies prove the damage. Duke University researchers found that men who ate 30 grams of flax daily, about 3 tablespoons, for just a month saw testosterone drop by 15%. And flax also increases SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, a protein that locks up your free testosterone, making it unavailable. So not only does flax reduce your total testosterone, it also ties up what little remains. I had a 58-year-old patient who ate flax every morning for years, thinking it protected his heart. His free testosterone was alarmingly low. I told him to stop immediately. 6 weeks later, his free testosterone had risen by 22%, and he told me, "Doctor, I feel like I've been switched back on." And here's another kicker. Flax's omega-3 is in the form of ALA, which men convert very poorly into the useful forms EPA and DHA. Women convert better because estrogen enhances the process. For men, the conversion rate is just 5 to 8%, meaning you get minimal benefits but all the estrogenic downsides. Flax is essentially designed to favor women's biology, not men's. Gentlemen, flax may be hyped as a miracle food, but for men over 50, it's a silent testosterone killer. Now, if you thought that was bad, the third nut on our list is even more deceptive, because it's marketed as a fun, tasty, better choice snack. Let's talk about flavored processed nuts. Processed flavored nuts, the testosterone disaster. Honey roasted, cinnamon sugar, barbecue, licorice flavored. You've seen them at gas stations, grocery stores, vending machines. Men grab them thinking they're better than candy, but the truth is, they're a testosterone disaster. Here's why. Many flavored nuts use licorice for taste. Licorice contains glyceric acid, which blocks the enzyme needed to make testosterone from cholesterol. Without it, testosterone production crashes. An Italian study showed just 7 grams of licorice a day slashed testosterone by 44% in 4 days. 4 days. Nearly half of a man's testosterone wiped out. Even without licorice, processed nuts are harmful. They're roasted at extremely high heat, producing toxins that inflame the body and damage the Leydig cells in your testicles, the very cells that make testosterone. On top of that, they're often coated in sugar, which spikes insulin, fuels belly fat, and drives more aromatase activity that converts testosterone into estrogen. I had a patient who ate a can of honey-roasted nuts every day, thinking it was healthier than cookies. His testosterone was clinically low at 280. We swapped the flavored nuts for raw alternatives, and within 3 months, his levels jumped to 425. He lost 12 pounds without changing anything else. Processed nuts may look harmless, but they quietly drain your manhood day after day. And that brings us to the last one, peanuts. Peanuts, the inflammatory trap. Peanuts aren't even true nuts, they're legumes. But they're everywhere. Peanut butter, snacks, bars, ballparks. For many men, they're comfort food. But here's the problem. Peanuts are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids and almost no omega-3 to balance it. This imbalance fuels inflammation, one of testosterone's greatest enemies. Chronic inflammation damages blood vessels, disrupts hormone production, and tells your body to focus on survival instead of reproduction. Even worse, peanuts often contain aflatoxins, toxic mold byproducts that strain your liver. And your liver is critical for hormone metabolism. It clears estrogen and processes testosterone. A sluggish liver means rising estrogen and weaker testosterone. I treated a man in his early 60s who ate peanut butter daily. His testosterone was borderline, but his liver enzymes were high. We swapped peanut butter for almond butter and boosted omega-3 intake. 3 months later, his testosterone rose by 80 points, his liver markers normalized, and he told me, "Doctor, I never imagined peanut butter was holding me back." Gentlemen, peanuts may feel harmless, but for men over 50, they're another silent testosterone trap. I feel lighter, sharper, and more like myself again. Now, I'm not here to label peanuts as poison, but for men past 50, they're not the everyday staple they've been made out to be. If you enjoy peanut butter, keep it as an occasional indulgence, not a daily ritual. And when you do have it, go for organic Valencia peanuts, since they generally carry lower levels of aflatoxins. Gentlemen, it's all too easy to fall into old habits of convenience and tradition, but if your goal is to protect your testosterone, it's time to rethink peanuts. They're not as harmless as they appear, and when combined with the other 3 nuts I've already warned about, they can quietly undermine your manhood. The good news is this: not every nut works against you. In fact, some are powerful allies, so effective they can act like natural testosterone boosters disguised as food. And the very first one is so packed with a critical mineral that just a few a day can reshape your hormone health. I'm talking about Brazil nuts. Just 5 Brazil nuts can be a true testosterone powerhouse. Now that we've covered the culprits that sap your masculinity, let's shift to one of the strongest allies you have in restoring vitality. If there's a single nut I could recommend to nearly every man over 50, it would be this one. Brazil nuts, large, rich, and smooth in taste, are far more than a snack. For men your age, they're like a natural testosterone supplement nature has provided. The key is in a mineral most men overlook, yet your testicles cannot function without: selenium. A single Brazil nut can give you nearly twice your daily selenium requirement. And this goes beyond simply filling a nutritional gap. Selenium shields your testosterone-producing Leydig cells from oxidative stress, that slow rusting process that accelerates with age. Think of selenium as armor, keeping your hormone factories running even when stress, toxins, and inflammation try to shut them down. But that's only the beginning. Brazil nuts also supply boron, another underrated mineral that plays a crucial role in freeing up testosterone. You see, much of your testosterone is locked away by a protein called SHBG, making it unavailable for use. Boron lowers SHBG, freeing more testosterone into your bloodstream, the type that fuels your energy, confidence, and performance. Studies reveal that just 10 milligrams of boron per day can raise free testosterone by nearly 30% while also lowering estrogen. And a small handful of Brazil nuts can deliver enough boron to make a real impact. I've had patients walk into my office drained, discouraged, and certain their best days were over. One man, age 61, told me he felt invisible, low drive, fading erections, and struggling to focus. He didn't want pills, he wanted something natural. I suggested a simple daily ritual: 1 or 2 Brazil nuts each morning with breakfast. 6 weeks later, he returned with a smile. His energy was higher, his mind sharper, and his wife had noticed the difference too. His lab results showed his testosterone had climbed by over 100 points. Sometimes, gentlemen, the simplest changes deliver the biggest rewards. But let me offer a word of caution. With Brazil nuts, moderation is essential. Too much selenium can actually become harmful. So don't overdo it. 1 to 2 nuts per day is perfect, enough to boost hormones without crossing the line. And because Brazil nuts contain delicate oils that spoil quickly, I recommend buying them fresh, storing them in the freezer, and discarding any that taste bitter or metallic. When eaten in the morning, they provide selenium at the very time testosterone production peaks naturally, amplifying the benefit. Gentlemen, Brazil nuts prove that the right foods can dramatically improve how you feel as you age. A small habit, just a couple of nuts each day, can help restore vitality, energy, and the spark you thought you'd lost. And as powerful as Brazil nuts are, they're not your only allies. The next nut I'll share works in a completely different way. It's low in omega-6, high in healthy fats, and supports testosterone by fighting inflammation and improving insulin sensitivity. It's so rich in monounsaturated fat that it even rivals olive oil. Let's talk about macadamia nuts. 6. Macadamia nuts, the anti-inflammatory ally.